Wouldn't that figure? There was no sound to the intro, right? My first technical difficulty. But first and foremost, I want to thank each and every one of you for being here, and I want to welcome you to the first in a series of interviews that I'm going to be doing with various YouTubers, with various subscriber counts. The reason I'm doing this is because, quite simply, I want to instill inspiration and motivation, and I want you to see that anything is possible on this platform if you truly put your mind to it and you reach out to all the right places and you do the right things. So with that being said, again, I want to welcome everybody here. I'll be honest, I'm a little nervous, so I might stutter. I might, repeat myself. So please bear with me on this. So there won't be any high fives or thumbs up today, but I do see each and every one of you in the chat. What's going to happen today is I'm going to bring these awesome YouTubers up here. We're going to ask them a bunch of questions that I have. They're going to answer those questions, and then after that, they're going to field your questions. So get ready for that. The YouTubers, obviously, you see this in the title, is Freeisbetter86. Let me go ahead and show you guys the channel here real quick. This is Freeisbetter86, a married couple doing scrapping and various other things, trying to be as motivating and as positive as humanly possible. And trust me when I say this, they truly are. They are genuine when it comes to being positive. They have heart. So they do dumpster diving. They like to resell online, do things of that nature. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and bring them up here. Let's go ahead and fix these technical difficulties here and add them up. I want to welcome Cassie and Sean. How you doing?
Good. Hey, everyone.
Hope everybody's having a great evening.
Oh my Lord. I don't know what happened. I had a panic attack there for a second. So we're both nervous. So guys, Cassie and Sean, you're back. You have an awesome channel. Did you want to tell us a little bit briefly in your own words about what your channel is all about instead of fumble verbiage over here?
Well, we're basically about pushing art positivity, and if we can reach one person and teach them a new skill or teach them a way to save money or make money, that's what we're all about.
Awesome. Awesome. I couldn't have said it better myself. So guys, do me a favor and share this out. We're going to be doing these streams. I'm hoping to do these streams weekly. So the more people we can get in here, the merrier. There's going to be a lot of tips and tricks and things that we're going to talk about that you might be able to prevent yourselves from doing in growing on the YouTube platforms, things that you want to be doing, things that you may not necessarily be wanting to do. So just bear that in mind as well. So I guess the most obvious question, guys, what inspired you guys to decide, hey, I want to make a YouTube channel?
Definitely the number one thing was Sean had a collapsed lung. At that time, that was about 3 years ago now.
Yep, 3 years ago.
And at the time, I had already quit my job to stay at home with our little man. And rent was coming due, and we had to wait for his unemployment insurance to come in. And that takes anywhere from 3 weeks to 6 weeks. So it was like, yeah. oh no, what are we going to do? And he was actually watching YouTube videos, and it was mostly scrapping videos. And before that, we never really thought of scrapping.
No.
And we never seen the money that could come with it also. So we had seen on the side of the road where we lived at the time, we would see water coolers, fridges, and lamps, and all these different things, and we just passed them up. And then once we started watching the YouTube scrapping videos, I was like, you know what? I can do this. So I started.
Yep.
Boy, oh boy, you guys hit the ground running too. You really did. You made an impact in the scrapping community, and anybody that watches you. I truly feel that you guys are probably one of the most positive couples I've ever seen on YouTube, niche or no niche. So I thought I'd mention that right up front. So yeah, that's definitely a great reason to start a YouTube channel. You saw something that could possibly work and make you a little extra money. That's awesome. I mean, did you have any difficulty getting into the motion of it? You know, getting started. Was there any like pitfalls there?
It was all a learning experience. We had never, like, we're not technologically inclined. We actually stayed away from technology, from cell phones and from Facebook and, all those things. So each and every step of it was learning. We had to learn, and YouTube was the biggest teacher we could have, because if there was anything we were having difficulty with, it was just a couple keywords away.
I can certainly hear that. But on the same time, and on a more encouraging note, I mean, there are people all over YouTube, and I said this just the other day. There are people and channels that just posts like, like Post 10, for example, just cleaning out drains, and he's got a couple 100,000 subscribers. It's amazing how much the personality, the perseverance, and how much your presence is on YouTube that propels you to get those views and get those subscribers. I mean, don't get me wrong, all those other pieces are important too, but those fundamental pieces right there definitely help. So let's see. I appreciate you guys bearing with me through this whole thing. So did you start? I mean, I guess this is kind of a follow-up question here. I mean, did you start scrapping right around the same time you started your YouTube channel, or did you start doing that prior to doing the YouTube channel?
Nope, we actually started right off the cusp. The second we started scrapping, Cassie was like, well, we got to make a video about this, and we'll start putting it on YouTube. And it definitely wasn't to get money from YouTube. We didn't even know you could be monetized when it first all started out. We had no clue that you could make money off of YouTube. We just knew that we were watching a lot of scrappers, and they were going out for the day, and they were making $60, $70 a day sometimes. And we were going, wow, like at the shop that I worked at, there was a time where we actually had to pull out all our copper pipe, and some of it was real big, thick stuff. We tossed it all in a dumpster. Because I had no clue about it. I wasn't even thinking about, hey, you know what? That's a big pile of money sitting there. And I bet you there had been about 200 to 500 pounds of copper pipe that we tossed straight out the dumpster.
Wow.
And so basically from that point forward, once we started to realize like this is actually really easy and it's fun. It's absolutely enjoyable to go around and see what you can collect up. And some of the stuff we were finding, like, we found, gold and silver and money, and it was crazy.
That is awesome. I want to welcome everybody that's been coming in here. This isn't a typical stream where I do thumbs up and high fives for everybody. Today, it's all about the person I'm interviewing, or the persons, Freeisbetter86, aka Sean and Cassie here. So again, I'm asking them some questions as far as what makes their YouTube channel. And after that, we're going to do some Q&A. So this has been awesome so far, and I think I'm getting over the panic attack. So we're getting into a rhythm here. I noticed with scrappers, as scrappers, we kind of get this like spidey sense for scrap. Have you noticed that now that you're scrapping and you're dumpster diving and things like that? You drive down the road, you're like, oh, there's an air conditioner, I'm gonna pull right over and grab that.
I've done a U-turn to go and pick up stuff. I see it on the way going shopping, and I'm like, ooh, I need that.
Yeah, I mean, why not? I mean, it's right there, right for the plucking, right? Thank you, Gene. I appreciate that. So let's talk about, I mean, we did talk about one obstacle, of course, that is the technology. You talked a little bit about not having the technology to further the YouTube. Right now, would you consider it a hobby, or would you consider it like a part-time thing? Or I guess that's a good question to ask.
Well, it's the scrapping part is more of a hobby for us. I mean,
Yeah.
we like doing it. I mean, it's not something we focus all our attention on. So when we have extra time to strip copper wire or to break certain components down to get the copper or the brass out of it, then we'll definitely go ahead and do that. But it's more of a hobby. The making the video part of it, I guess, is kind of part-time now that we're back at it. Now, we did have to take some time off, but now that we're immersed ourselves back in, we definitely try to make an effort to make a good video for everybody. We're not just gonna, take some random footage and just throw it up there just for the sake of having a video out that day. If it takes 2 or 3 days, it takes 2 or 3 days. If it takes 5 days, it takes 5 days. I mean, I know a lot of people like to have an upload schedule, but for us, that doesn't work for our lifestyle. I do work full time. I have to be at work sometimes later than I would like to be, or on the weekend sometimes, and that is my number one priority aside from the family. And I love my job, so it's not something like where like I would replace my job with YouTube. I definitely wouldn't do that. I'm gonna ride out my job until my boss doesn't want to do it anymore.
That's awesome. No, I completely get that. I mean, with a family and so many things going on in life, and just the year 2020 alone, it makes it difficult to come up with a steady schedule. So, and a lot of people face that too. That's for sure. Now, since we're talking about obstacles, we might linger on this question for a little bit, because you did have some time off of YouTube, due to some illnesses and whatnot. Did you want to talk about that for a little bit, and maybe talk about the future of the channel?
Definitely.
Originally, last February, I blew my lung for a second time. Now, a lot of people didn't know I was a smoker for about 20 years. So I've been smoking cigarettes basically my entire life, all my adulthood. And I know that was a contributing factor, because when I went to the doctors, they told me, like, hey, if you quit smoking right now, you'll gain about a 45% chance of this not happening ever again. So automatically I was like, you know what? I'm going to quit right now. And that was a year and a half ago. And I've been smoke free for a year and a half.
Good for you.
Now,
seriously.
In that year and a half, she also had some things that had to go to the doctors for her spine and a couple other things. And between our doctor's appointments was enough. And then on top of all that, our little guy, he does have autism.
Yeah.
And to get them diagnosed is very challenging here where we live. There's not very many doctors that diagnose it. And there's a lot of therapy that he has to go to. There's we have different speech therapists and physiotherapy, helping him with eating, because he doesn't like to eat a lot of different foods, and that is a factor. And so basically we had to take care of all the appointments that were pressing. And like I said, our very first thing we said was like, you know what, we don't have time to make a YouTube video.
We have to take that step back. So we have to take care of ourselves and our family, because if we don't, we're not going to be able to make the videos anyways. No.
Right.
So we took that step back, and we actually had decided to come back right around February, March, but unfortunately with the events of the world, it's not like we were going to go hopping in dumpsters at any time soon. So we were like, you know what, let's just let this pan out and see what happens. And then basically in our area, the cases are next to nothing. We actually haven't had a case here.
That's wonderful.
For about 3 months. So then we decided, you know what, it's safe enough that we can start pursuing what we like doing. And now we have all of the appointments done with his therapist. and he actually starts school here in about 9 days.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Now, is he going to be going to, I don't want to dive too far down the rabbit hole, but is he going to be going to school full time, or is this going to be like a part-time thing? Like a lot of places in the States, like my kids, for example, are going to school physically a couple of days a week, and they're being doing remote learning the rest of the time.
From what we're aware of, as of right now, they're doing a staggered entry where it's broken up into 4 different groups, and they each start different days. But they're aiming at, once they are transitioned in, it would be full time. So
Sweet.
As of right now, full time. So I may get some extra time during the day to get some stuff done.
I can't say I blame you. So, guys, I mean, with that was a lot. I mean, with the channel itself, though, other than 2020, we'll just take 2020 out of the occasion. I mean, has there been any other pitfalls that or struggles that you've come across with your channel that you'd like to discuss with the viewers?
I would like to say about negativity. No matter what channel or who you are, negativity is going to be an issue. And that's going to be negative comments on, people who are there just to hate on you. And that was a big obstacle because it got, mainly, it got me really down.
Yeah.
And because no matter what, you have to see the comment. And no matter what, that's going to get absorbed, no matter what it is. And it took us a little bit, but now we're like, okay, we've seen it. Let's erase it. And it's done. So the negativity isn't too bad now. And we've learned how to overcome it. But when we were fresh to this, it really got us down.
Yeah, it would take a toll on the day for sure. Like, we would be out having a great time. I would be editing video for 3 or 4 hours. We'd get the video out, and in the first 5 or 10 minutes, at one point we had somebody with 3 or 4 accounts, I'm not sure, but they would go and they would just paste our channel with thumbs down, and then they would comment saying we're horrible parents and just stuff like that. And we would try to block them. Like, we would keep blocking them, but they would keep making new accounts.
Yeah.
And that went on for quite a few months. That went on, and eventually, obviously, they gave up. I mean, all I got to do is click a button and keep blocking them. They're the one who has to go make the account, go and comment. And
a lot of time and effort.
Your positivity prevailed, didn't it? Your positivity prevailed.
At one point in one day, we got it was just over 1,000 thumbs down on our channel, across our channel, but all in the same month, YouTube removed them all because they were all from false accounts that I was blocking. Right. So at one point, all of a sudden, it said minus 1,095 thumbs down, which was really good. So eventually it went away, and they've kind of stayed away from our channel, which is really nice because that was one of the determining factors in how many videos we made or what types of videos we made, because we didn't want to face any controversy from a select few people that were going to automatically comment on our parenting. So therefore, we didn't put our son in basically any of the videos.
And if anybody is wondering about little man,
he's right here on the screen.
We can see him at all times.
He's right there beside us. Right on.
Right on. Yeah, trolls can definitely be an issue, especially when you're a newer YouTuber. Wouldn't you both agree that as you become more and more experienced with YouTube, you start looking at comments a little differently in terms of you start noticing the difference between comments that are meant to hurt you and constructive feedback comments that appear to be negative, but they're actually constructive feedback. They're trying to help you. They're like, hey, I don't really like the way you did this. Maybe this will be better, kind of thing, versus you suck, which you guys don't suck.
No, we've definitely figured out the constructive criticism, and actually that's how we've actually learned how to do so many things. Like, when we were first editing videos, we didn't know how to play around with the volume. and somebody actually commented and said, hey, if you do this or try this, it'll work. And so
They taught us.
Yeah, they taught us how to do things.
All right. Sorry, I was just responding to somebody in the chat, and of course I threw a typo in there for good measure. There we go. So yeah, I mean, definitely. Now, here's an important one. Well, actually, let me ask you this before we get to the really important one. That's a good segue to the Q&A. How do you find time to be a YouTuber, even today, even now that you've got certain ducks in a row and, you know, little man is taken care of and all those appointments are taken care of? How do you guys find time in your day to create really good quality content like you do?
Well, for some couples, they have date night, whereas for us, we have video night.
Basically.
I love it.
It's how we get to spend time with each other doing something that we both enjoy, and we then get to, you know, put that out there for everybody else to enjoy too. So I don't know. That's our number one way that we do it.
And it also helps having two people to be able to make the video. A lot of the times, some of the newer videos you guys will see, it's just me going over to my shop, because we don't live far from my shop. So I am actually able to walk over with, you know, or drive the car over there, drop the scrap off, and then later on I can go there and I can break things down when I get off of work or at the end of the day when I'm closing the shop up. And I'm actually able to do a video with nobody really bugging me. Sometimes my boss is just right there, laughing his head off at me because I'm over there making a video. But that just kind of helps me make the video fun, because he thinks it's funny and watches my videos. He even said, "You guys are awesome." You know.
Do you guys? You must. I'm pretty sure I know the answer to this, but do you guys feel that it's a bonding experience creating these YouTube videos, these YouTube memories that perhaps little man will see and watch someday?
He does watch them.
And he watches them. He has the phone too, and he'll scroll through them, and he'll watch all our videos as well. I also have a daughter who is 14, turning 14, and she doesn't hear. She lives pretty far away, but she also watches the videos as well.
And she gets to see what we're doing through the videos also. So.
That's really, really cool. That's one thing that I really like about YouTube is just kind of documenting your life a bit. You know, when you're putting yourself out there like that, you're documenting your life. And that can be a really, really good thing. It's kind of a legacy if you think about it.
Exactly.
Well,
all right.
We don't even have to worry about saving pictures because we have videos.
Right, exactly. I mean, you take your pick. I mean, you guys have so many videos and there's so many more yet to come. I was so glad to see the We're Back video from you guys because you were one of the ones I truly enjoyed watching. You were in my top 5. And some of it is because of the positivity. You know what I'm saying? There are a lot of people that watch you guys that when they're done watching, that positivity rubs off on people, you know, and they have a better day for it. I think so. And it's happened to me. I don't know if it's happened to any of you guys in the chat. Put 1 in the chat if you feel that your day felt a little better after watching a Freeisbetter86 video. Seriously.
It makes me so happy because I truly believe that positivity can outweigh negativity any day, and we all just need to spread that little bit of positivity to each single person so that we can kill out the negativity.
That's right.
Pour in those ones. Look, the ones are popping in already, guys. All right. So here's the best one so far. This is my Hail Mary, and then we get to listen to the chat's questions.
Okay.
Knowing what you know now, okay, what advice would you give a new YouTuber that is just starting out to prepare them, to prevent them from doing certain things? Hey, do this, don't do that kind of thing.
I got this one. no matter what you choose something that you truly believe in and that makes you happy, that you have a passionate core feeling about, and do what makes you happy, because your happiness is what's going to get you like through it and keep going, even if you do get negativity. Because if you're enjoying what you do and you're truly pushing what you want, you will get the followers, you will get the love, because you're doing what you enjoy.
Just have fun with it. I mean, a lot of it, like when Cassie first started the YouTube, she was like, "Why don't you be on video?" And I was like, "No, I don't want to be on video. Get away from me. Don't put me in that video." And it was months and months and months and months and months before I finally was like, "Okay, maybe I'll try this," because her positivity always rubbed off on me, and there was a lot of things that I don't know, I didn't know how to do, and I was like, I don't want to be doing something that I don't know how to do. And then she would say to me, "Well, that's why you're here to learn."
Exactly.
And somebody will tell you down in the comments how to do it. So
if you don't know, ask.
Yeah, so basically I learned to just have fun with it and to not really care anybody's opinion of me based on what they're seeing, but to just learn from the experience of whatever it is that I was doing, whether I was scrapping out something, selling something, that kind of thing. And it has made me a way better person. It actually even made it easy for me to quit smoking, because I knew that I had a whole community behind me, that if I was to tell everybody, "Hey, I'm quitting smoking," everybody would be inspired by that, and it would actually help me in return to not ever want to do it again. And I quit cold turkey. I didn't have to. I never went back to it. Not one single time. All I did was use gum.
That is awesome, man. That is awesome. And absolutely do what you love. Don't be fake. Be you. That's the best. I agree with you wholeheartedly. Great advice. So at this point, that's all the questions I have for them, guys. But maybe perhaps there's a few questions in here, or you guys have some questions that might be better than mine, or if you've been wanting to ask Sean and Cassie some questions, now is a great opportunity to do so. And you guys cannot see the chat, can you?
Yeah, actually, we have the screen up behind us. There's a little bit of a delay, but I can see everybody's chat there. I made sure I muted it so it doesn't loop.
Okay, wonderful.
We almost lost it though, because I hit a button and it went off for a little bit, but Sean fixed it.
Awesome. So guys, if you have any questions, now's the time. Feel free to ask. Put them in here. Now's the opportunity to get direct feedback from some YouTubers that are really, really, it's really working out for them. Scrapping together. Hello, it's good to see you.
I know one question we had a lot on some of our videos. Not too many people ask it, because you're not supposed to ask how old somebody is, but a lot of people wonder how old we are. And I love it, because some people are like, "Well, you guys look like you're just in your 20s.
Yeah, no.
I just turned 33.
And I am older than him by 1 year, and I am 34.
Wow. Guys, how many YouTubers are that open and honest about their age? Nobody even asked that question.
There's been a few people that have asked it, and we answer it. I mean, I don't have a problem answering it, but I know a lot of people probably wonder that, because we do get comments on that to be like, you guys are so young. You guys are only in your 20s. Some people have even said that you're probably not even 20 yet.
Jean has a good question.
Yes, Jean has a question. How have you been doing that?
Very good, actually. We found a couple other pieces. And
as we're right over to the side of us, we have our little brass decor area.
Yeah.
And he's looking over and seeing what new pieces.
Yeah. There's one that is really cool, actually. And it's actually a brass piggy bank.
Oh my!
It even has the bottom to it too. So, and it's really, really neat.
Wow. So let me ask of course, while you guys are thinking about your questions to ask Freeisbetter86, let me ask you guys a question. There's a lot of scrappers in here. Is there anyone that was inspired to create their own channels by Freeisbetter86? Were they one of the channels that inspired you? I would like to know, and I'm sure they would like to know as well.
Absolutely.
So yeah, that's interesting. So the floor is definitely yours at any time while we're waiting for questions. If there's anything you want to talk about, if there's any passions that you want to pass along to the viewers, please feel free.
Oh, there's one question we actually have gotten before, and it was, why Freeisbetter86? What's with the name?
That is a good question. Yeah, you might as well run with it since you mentioned it. Sure.
Well, because what's better? Free. I like free stuff. If I don't have to pay for it, free is better.
Absolutely.
And 86 because it was the year I was born. So Freeisbetter86, and I checked the YouTube search, and there was nobody who had that name. So it was unique, and we went with it.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And you've definitely created a brand around it too. I love it. Free is definitely better.
All the videos are done 100% free. Our software editing is DaVinci Resolve, which we don't pay for. We use Adobe Spark to make the thumbnails. And our original camera that we had was free. Now, Cassie broke that camera, but we actually ended up finding the exact same one on eBay, and it was only like $60, which we used scrap money to pay for. So basically making it free.
That's awesome. So if JT is All Business isn't still in here, JT is All Business has a gaming channel, and he's got over 100,000 subscribers. He had an interview fairly recently with a Mr. Johnny 25, and it was a really good interview. And Johnny 25 asked him a question, and they were talking about how you view your fellow YouTube creators. Do you view them as competition, or do you view them as how do you view your fellow YouTube creators? I guess that's the best question to say.
Teachers, yeah.
Yeah, I love that.
When we first started, Scrap and Pallet Man had actually given us a shout out a few times and kind of got the subscribers rolling in. And Scrap Kingdom, Marty, was our very first subscriber. And
awesome.
Basically from that point, it just kept growing. And then once we realized you could get monetized and get paid for making the YouTube videos, we were intrigued by that, because we were like, wow, you can make money to do this.
But we never thought that we were actually going to hit that threshold.
No, we were just happy making the money from the scrap metal that we were doing. But then everybody was trying to get the 1,000 subscribers, and it did take us a little while. And I think it took us about 9 months from starting our channel to the time we actually got remonetized, I should say. And the second we got monetized, it took off pretty good. And we've just never really worried about what other creators make, or, how they do theirs or anything like that.
That's their passion and their story.
Yeah. So we just kind of stuck to what we like to do. And we've tried to improve it over the years. I mean, we try to do different types of videos than maybe we were comfortable doing. At the beginning, we didn't really do much dumpster diving on video. And now we try to actually bring the camera along with us, regardless if people are looking at us or not. Like, a lot of the times, you guys, when you're watching the video, you don't see it, but there's usually people around us just staring at us, wondering, what are these people doing in the dumpster right now? And we just play it off like no big deal. We have lots of people ask us questions and that kind of thing, but nonetheless, it's always been just a great experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. I agree wholeheartedly. And as far as asking you that question, it really resonated with me, this interview that JT is All Business had, because we are, as YouTube creators, we should all be collaborators. You know, we're not competition, right? You know, can you imagine if we were all against each other? We wouldn't grow. You know, we one person couldn't give a tip or trick to the other to help them grow and go up that ladder, so to speak. So we're all collaborators here. That's what I believe anyway.
And in my opinion, when you start seeing it as a competition, you've lost that spark within yourself to create.
Yeah.
Because now
Exactly.
you're just trying to top somebody. You're not actually just being you. So
right.
That's my.
Well,
no, you're absolutely right. You lose that inspiration, and then it's replaced with that competitive nature. I agree.
Like, we've also noticed, we're not going to name any channels, obviously, but some channels, it seems like now that they make YouTube videos and they make good money off of it, you know, they could be making thousands of dollars in a month or you know, hundreds of dollars per day, and it's almost replaced their income. But to the point now that if they don't put out a YouTube video, you can kind of see it in their video that they're just putting out something just to make sure that the revenue keeps on rolling in, and they kind of lost the spark maybe that they would have had when they first started YouTube, or their channel first took off and they were making money off of it. It's kind of replaced that, and we've noticed that in a lot of different channels that are way bigger than even Scrap and Pallet Man's channel or any of them. Like, some of these channels have millions of subscribers, and you can tell by their videos that they just don't enjoy it anymore. They're basically basically just making the videos because they know that they're going to get the 100,000 to 250,000 views, and they're going to make $1,000 that day, kind of thing. Yeah. And we've just made sure that we don't let that affect what we're doing. All the money basically that we've made from YouTube, it goes into our son's bank account. We don't touch the money, really. It's not about spending the money or making the money. The scrap money just pays for things that we want to do. If there's something new that we want to get, or, you know, if we want to eat out one day, I mean,
why not?
We use scrap money.
I love that. I absolutely love that. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, a lot of people come on board with, you know, trying to, they think they're going to make a lot of money, and they burn their candle at both ends. And before you know it, they're burnt out. And then, you know, I think people like that, with that false expectation, they eventually turn into trolls, I think, in my opinion. You know, they come in with a false expectation or an unrealistic expectation. They fail, and then they're jealous of people that stick to their positivity, stick to their humbleness, if you will, and just run with that, and not necessarily the money. The money will fall into place if you've got what it takes. YouTube is going to propel you that way, you know. But I agree, you got to stay humble.
Somebody did ask the question: is the money tax free? No, it's not tax free. You do have to pay taxes on it.
And that's for scrap and YouTube. Yeah,
we also pay taxes on whatever we scrap.
Yep.
And we make sure with our receipt, actually I have a whole bunch of them here.
Yeah. We
keep all of our receipts.
Every receipt.
Yep. And you definitely want to do that, guys, because I mean, you could get audited any time, and if you get audited and you get caught with your proverbial pants down like that, it's definitely not good. But yeah, Google sent me a 1099 last year. It was the first time I ever got a 1099 from Google. That was pretty cool, sort of, because I had to pay taxes.
Yeah, I mean, that's where it's kind of you know, for everything that we would make throughout the year, we do have to pay pretty good taxes on it, but not as bad as it would seem. I guess we still do make pretty good money off of it.
Oh, Jan King, are you still here? Please don't leave.
Jan King, there's no rules. The questions are pertaining to YouTube is all. I don't want them to be too much of a personal nature. Earlier on, Jan did ask the question how you guys met. And I just asked her to keep it YouTube related, but you're certainly welcome to answer.
We are open book. We don't hide anything. And we actually met through, at the time, we were both down in our luck.
Yeah.
We had both come from toxic relationships that had ended, and we were refinding ourselves. And I was actually living with some people, and a girlfriend of mine mentioned him, and I'm like, oh, I went to high school with him. And from there, it became, oh, well, you should add him to your friends. And we started talking. We made a date to meet up and just hang out as friends, just friends, because we had both gone through horrible relationships. And from there, we never separated. We've been best friends and together ever since.
And when we first met, we were both looking for jobs to try to get jobs. And we actually were homeless for about 3 weeks. We didn't have anywhere to live. We didn't have really any money. We were waiting on some money to come in. So we actually decided to go camping for about 3 weeks. And we basically lived in our car, the very first car that would have been on our YouTube channel. And yeah, that's basically, and since then we've been together for almost 10 years.
That's awesome. I love happy endings like that. Well, technically it hasn't ended yet, right?
Nope, not yet.
That is awesome. Yeah, Jan, I didn't mean to offend you. I just was originally we were going to try to just keep things, YouTube related, but that's fine. I mean, if you guys see any questions in the chat you want to answer, you're certainly welcome to do so. So Gene asked how hard is the editing process for you?
He is the master of it now.
Yeah.
Originally, I started doing the editing. I went through the process and watching the YouTube videos and what programs were free to use and how to do it and how to use them. And then he took over. And with him, it takes no time.
Yeah. What we try to do when we're actually just doing our video, we turn the camera on and off a lot of times, because then it just saves it in one single clip. And then that way, when I put them on DaVinci, I can put on 40 or 50 clips. And it's actually easier for me to go through, say, a 1 minute clip than try to go through a 17-minute clip and cut out all the different sections. So there's less cutting out for me. I just basically got to cut out the first couple seconds of the clip and say the last, 5 seconds or 6 seconds of the clip when you're trying to fumble with the camera or any of the kind of sounds. And now that we have figured out the program, it actually works basically the same as any of the ones that you would pay money for. They just don't allow you to do everything that some of the better programs would allow you to do, like putting fire behind you or anything like that. You'd have to pay money to do any of that kind of stuff. But the basic model is there. And the great thing that I like about it is down in the corner, it doesn't say video made with, there's no watermark on it like that. So we kind of just stuck to that. And before, when we first started editing videos, it was literally an 8-hour process, maybe even 10 hours. Now it's anywhere from an hour and a half to about 3 hours.
That's awesome. I want to welcome Diving with Purpose. It's great to see you diving with purpose. She is a fellow dumpster diver as well. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with her, but she is a must-have in terms of subscribers, subscriptions. We'll just say that. But yeah, that is awesome. I'm trying to see if there's any other questions here real quick. Gene says he loves your vids, which is awesome.
And actually, he was one of our lucky subscribers who had won a gift card.
Yay, that's awesome.
So he's been with us for some time.
A loyal viewer. But Sean, I do completely agree with you as far as turning on and turning off the camera at the right time when you want that exact moment, that exact shot. That makes perfect sense, because I've done that myself. Like for instance, I'm editing a video that I made four-wheeling, And I've got several segments that are like 15, 20 minutes long. And I'm like, there's certain segments along the way I want to keep, some I don't. And it's very much time consuming. But yeah. You asked a question, Terra Firma. First off, it's good to see you, Terra Firma. I hope life's treating you well, buddy. Let's see if I can find your question. Or are you just kidding around with me? Because that happens too. Let's see if I can find him here.
Sean's going through to see if you can find it too.
Yeah. Terra Firma, I'm not seeing it. If you do have a question, definitely feel free to repeat it. That would be perfectly fine. We're going to have them on probably for another 15 or so minutes because I promised them that I wouldn't keep them for more than, say, an hour or so. The last message I see, other than the one saying you asked a question, was, hey, Gil Skillz Live.
Well, I like to take a minute and just say thank you to everybody for being patient with us and joining in some questions with us this evening, because this is our very first ever live.
We've never done this. And now that we finally did it and we know that this phone works for it, we're actually probably going to, at some point in the near future, do a live on our channel just to give it a try, because we've never done it before, and it's actually really enjoyable.
We were very nervous.
When Terra Firma has a question, he doesn't wait to ask. Yeah, definitely feel free to repeat the question, Terra Firma. I'm sorry if we missed it, for sure. When I first started out, Sean, with editing, I had Microsoft, the Microsoft Windows editor, the free one.
Yeah.
What I can't remember what they call it, but I used the free one forever and ever and ever. And then I switched to a program called Filmora.
Yeah.
You got to pay for it, but you can get like a lifetime license for it for like $60. It's relatively inexpensive. And it does a few more things that Windows Movie Maker, that's what it was, didn't do for me. Terra Firma, I don't see it. And Tales of the Solstice doesn't see it either. So and nobody's deleting anything. I don't see anything deleted. I swear, Terra Firma. But yeah,
Catherine,
if you have a question,
Catherine asked if I did any more metal detecting. So far this year, we haven't done any metal detecting. We've been focusing on kind of getting our scrap pile down. But as long as the weather holds up here, it feels like it's already October going into fall. But yeah. I do plan on going out to the beach we try to go when it's a little bit colder. That way there's nobody there. And definitely metal detecting the beach, because there always is a lot of people in the one stretch, and hopefully we can find some gold, because I actually did find a gold ring last year, and that was, I think, my best find ever.
Awesome. And I bet they would make for some great videos too. You know, when you find some good stuff. People love the thrill of the hunt too. I sent him a screenshot to show him YouTube was eating it. Yeah, I mean, I'm not even seeing any evidence of anything being deleted on my end. Tales of the Solstice and Terra Firma are good friends. But thank you for sticking up for me, Tales of the Solstice. I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, I mean, it's good to hear that you guys are expanding too, metal detecting videos and things like that, but yet it's still within the realm of metal, which is kind of cool also.
Well, because it works so perfect, because if we do, we like to take little man with us. That way, me and him, we get to play on the playground and play in the sand and run around, have some fun and exercise. Well, he goes around and he metal detects. And then we're cleaning up the area. So if there's nails or sharp pieces of metal, he picks it up. We put it in his pocket, he puts it in his pocket, and we get rid of it or scrap it. And then if we find anything really good, like we have, then we do post it locally to see if we can get it returned to the rightful owner.
Yeah.
And if we can't find the owner, then we get to keep it.
I would imagine it's quite addicting. Junior ACAT says metal detecting is like crack. I would imagine so. You know, I don't know what crack is. Gene has another question. How has it increased in the last 2 months for you guys?
Just a little bit more info.
Yeah, maybe some clarification or some further information. I was thinking the same thing. Thank you, David. I appreciate that. This is the first one, unfortunately, so I'm like all over the place and nervous and stuff, and I feel bad for you guys. But it is a real honor to have you guys here regardless, and I appreciate your patience through it all. Your viewership. Okay.
It since we came back, it kind of, it seems like we don't get as many views as we used to on the videos. Like when they were first uploaded, we would average, I think, probably about 1,000 in the first hour. Now we're averaging about 300 to 500 in the first hour. But I guess it's really all dependent on the video.
Yeah. And what audience is interested in the video.
Great answer.
But we used to, like, our dumpster diving videos used to be very popular. But I think with the YouTube algorithm now, like when you put in dumpster diving and you have dumpster diving in the description, and if your thumbnail has dumpster in it, the YouTube algorithm will put us at the top for, say, the first, I don't know, 2 or 3 hours. But if you go look, there will be literally about another 30 to 50 videos right after us. So they go all basically in order of when they're uploaded.
The algorithm eats you.
Yeah, the algorithm eats you pretty quickly. But for us, it's not really about how many views we get. It's always basically been about having fun while we're doing it.
Exactly.
And once it's uploaded, as long as we can inspire or motivate just one person, we know, for instance, there's a lot of scrappers that we watch, and right after watching some of their videos, it makes you want to go and scrap. It makes you want to start pulling things apart and, finding copper or what have you. And we hope that our videos can do that for other people as well.
That's awesome. Guys, also, just so you know, the link to Freeisbetter's channel, Freeisbetter86's channel, is in the description below. So if you're not subscribed to them, I would definitely recommend that you check them out because they are awesome at what they do. All their videos are really, really upbeat and positive. And it's really cool, some of the things that they find as well. They're really good at taking lemons and turning it into lemonade too. I will say that. If you'll forgive the pun. All right. So, I mean, at this point, does anybody have any last questions? We're going to do last call here because we are getting close to an hour.
Thank you, Gene.
It also brings awareness to leaving things out for scrappers rather than filling our landfills. Yep. Sometimes it's just about the recycling.
We actually put out a bunch of stuff. We cleaned out our downstairs area for wintertime, as we're going to get snow in Canada here anytime. Yeah. And so we put a whole bunch of stuff, rather than throwing it away. We put it on the curb and put a big sign, "Free, take me." I think that's the best thing anybody can do, is to keep it out of the landfill, get it new life, let somebody else take it and get use out of it, or scrap it out.
Yeah, there was actually a bike we found in a dumpster. The one back tire was flat. Yeah, and the tire was flat, and it was a nice bike. It had a little bit of rust on it, but it still worked. And we put it out on the curb instead of scrapping it, because we didn't want to scrap it. We didn't necessarily want to try and sell it, because we don't, when sure it's in the dumpster, but we're not 100% sure if maybe somebody did steal it and then lob it in the dumpster. I mean, it's kind of fair game once it is in there.
Right.
So we just put a free sign on it, and it got taken within the first 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Wow. We finally got that question that Terra Firma has been dying to ask you guys. So have you ever had a period where things weren't going your way on YouTube? If so, what did you do about it?
Ooh.
That's a good question. When we first didn't know how to make a thumbnail, that was definitely one of the times that we were not, we couldn't figure it out, and YouTube generates the 3 thumbnails for you. So we would just pick from that, at first, and we kept trying to learn how to do it. And for some reason, we tried other different programs. It wouldn't work. And then somebody in our comments had mentioned Adobe Spark to go and try that. And basically, that's what we did about it. We started asking our viewers for help because they're so knowledgeable in everything that we do, whether it's scrapping or editing the videos or, just a lot of those things in general. Somebody has the answer out there. And if you ask them, they'll usually answer in the comments right away, which is really nice.
Most of the time, people are certainly more than willing to help out, more than you would think they would be. That's for sure. So the final question tonight is, do y'all ever, and I'm reading verbatim here, do y'all ever dumpster dive for retail merch?
We wish.
We wish we could here. Unfortunately, all our big retail stores have what you call a trash compactor, and they just throw it in there and it compacts it. You don't even get to see it.
And in our area, we don't have that many retail stores. We have our biggest store here is a Walmart.
One Walmart. That's it.
Wow.
And we just yesterday, we had a giant tiger open in which we were able to get a little bit of scrap metal and some wires and stuff out of their dumpster. But other than that, there's not too much.
Yeah.
I wish we lived in a bigger city that had more of that, because we would be doing it every single day as much as we could.
One thing about you guys, not to interrupt you, but one thing about you guys that I noticed is it seems like you guys seem to find way more scrap than some of us do.
Yeah, we definitely have lucked out on copper wire. That seems to be here. Everybody, they just throw it in the dumpster. There doesn't seem to anybody keeping it or, scrapping it themselves. So almost every open top that we come across, we look because we know there's going to be some kind of copper wire in there or little pieces of copper. And we always score. We've only been on September 27th. We will have been scrapping for 3 years, even though we did take a year off. In that total time, just in copper out of the dumpster, has been over $5,000.
Wow.
So that's an average of basically about $135 every single month in copper wire that we've stripped.
That's awesome.
So it's been, and that's just the copper. There's brass and aluminum and all that too. I mean, it's absolutely insane how much copper gets thrown in the dumpsters around here, and nobody else. We only know one other scrapper in our area, and he gives his scrap usually to us.
That's awesome.
Because he actually works at one of the scrap yards, and they won't allow him to bring his scrap there.
Oh.
So because he's an employee, and he has to go to and we only have 2 scrap yards here, and the other one is a lot further away, and their prices are horrible.
Gotcha. Well, that's I know copper is like your favorite thing, and that's one of the reasons why I got the jackpot shot of Cassie just sitting there with this big mound of stripped copper wire, and I'm like, I gotta have that in my intro. That was totally awesome. But yeah,
oh, I do. I absolutely, like, as soon as I see copper, I get excited.
Absolutely,
and it's like gold, and
it's like finding money. It's like finding money.
Yep.
Yeah, and once you once you get to bring an amount of copper in, and you see what the outcome is, how much you're going to get from the scrapyard for it, it's like, why are people throwing this away? Oh my goodness! Like, I fell in love with copper, so it's my goodies.
I love it. It's the guilty pleasure, right?
Oh, that's a lot of people are like, oh, copper, 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 but no, I'm copper, copper, copper. I love it.
And that actually, the thumbnail that you use, that video is our most viewed video. It
Really?
has 121,000 views.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
I picked a good one then.
yeah, that was definitely our most viewed video ever.
Well, I want to thank you guys. We're just a little bit past an hour. I seriously, I'm honored that you guys accepted my invitation to do this. I know that it didn't all go perfect, but I feel that I and the chat both got some really, really good information from you, and a few people have joined you for this. So thank you from the bottom of my heart for being here. And we will definitely be seeing you around the YouTubes. Did you want to say anything before we end this?
Yeah, we just want to say thank you, everybody. We're glad that we got this out of our system to be on a live. We've never done this before, and we absolutely enjoyed this.
Yes.
So we will try in the near future to do a live on our channel. And now that we have joined the StreamYard with you, at some point we'll definitely hop on one of your lives.
Yeah,
That's fantastic, and you're always welcome.
Awesome.
All right. Well, and if you guys have any questions when you do finally decide to go live, feel free to reach out. More than happy to help out any way I can. But I hope you all have a fantastic night. I am going to probably go live within an hour after this stream. Start a new stream so people don't still think it's an interview. But I hope you all have a wonderful night, and until the next time, have a scrap happy day.
And just going to do a little thing before we end.
Sure, of course.
Everybody, definitely keep pushing your dream, keep pushing your passion, however, whenever you can, and try to have fun with it.
I love that.
See you guys.
Bye.
See you guys.